In the Great Lakes, things happen without warning. One minute, your small boat is gliding along a sheet of freshwater glass. The next, it's fighting for survival against a sudden swell. What started as a pleasant beach stroll ended up becoming a sprint away from a sudden rise in water level. And perhaps, most commonly, you walk your recycling bin to the curb in the morning in nothing but shorts and sandals, only to find that the return trip to retrieve it requires nothing less than a winter coat and sled dogs. Rogue waves, meteo tsunamis, and lake effect snow are all known causes for the aforementioned phenomena. So, while we may not be given much of a warning, at least we have a cause. Most of the time. Hello, and welcome, my freshwater friends, to episode 30 of the About the Water podcast, an exploration of high strangeness on and around the Great Lakes. Today we cruise the beautiful Milwaukee shoreline. Here, we'll experience a strange event which happens without warning or explanation, as lightning rips and thunder rolls about the water. Episode 30, Eclairs et Tonnerre. The inhuman noise that came out of Kara's mouth was unlike anything Tyler had ever heard during their 23 years of marriage, and it haunts him to this day.
Whoa, Tyler exclaimed. So I'm guessing that's a 5-star review from you then.
Oh yeah, Kara replied with a chuckle, and that's just for the garlic sauce that came with those fries.
Oh, garlic sauce indeed,
Tyler said as he rolled down the window of his Volvo, flailing in an attempt to get the aroma out. Dinner on the town was the couple's bi-weekly routine, and on this cloudless and breezy summer evening, they found themselves opting for fancy burgers in Milwaukee's historic 3rd Ward. As they headed towards their home on the city's north side, Kara put the moonroof back and took in a couple deep breaths of the fresh lakefront air. "Ty," she said, "let's go up the coast a bit. Take Lincoln Drive." Tyler nodded. A picturesque cruise along a moonlit Lake Michigan via a trees-in-the-middle kind of parkway. Yeah, he didn't need to be asked twice. The Wednesday evening traffic was very light, allowing Tyler to cruise at a leisurely pace, taking in the shimmering water on his right and the flickering city lights on his left. The 3.5-mile detour was always over far too quickly. "Feeling German next," Kara suggested. Tyler eagerly agreed.
"Oh yeah, that beer hall up just north of State. We haven't been over
Tyler slammed on the brakes, and the car stopped. He couldn't see anything. He couldn't hear anything.
Kara,
he shouted, reaching towards the passenger seat to try to locate his wife by feel. She was there, sitting upright. Good. As he touched her face, he could feel that her eyes were open. Very good. And she was talking. Very, very good.
"I can't hear you, Kara, baby. I can't hear you,"
Tyler shouted over the ringing in his ears. He flipped on the hazard lights and turned off the ignition. The inside of his nose was stinging. He could smell a strong electrical or chemical aroma in the air. Maybe the airbag deployed. A quick feel of the steering wheel told him no, that wasn't the case. Perhaps it was a fire. They have to get out.
Kara, get out,"
Tyler yelled, unsure if she could even hear him. He reached over and opened her door, undoing her seatbelt with one hand and shoving her out of the SUV with the other. He then felt his way out of the car, stumbling around towards the back and then along the right side to the open passenger door. Turning around and dropping to all fours, he found Kara, who was sitting on the grass. Reaching into his pocket, Tyler fished out his cell phone. Unable to see or hear it, he just instructed the phone by voice to call 911. And after waiting a few seconds, hoping someone answered, He just repeated his location over and over, shouting for help at the top of his lungs. After a couple of minutes, the ringing in Tyler's ears began to subside, and his vision began to offer him a blurry view of his surroundings. He could see a fuzzy line of red and white lights that were rapidly drawing near. Tyler stood. "Ambulance," he said to Kara, as he waved his arms as high as he could, before collapsing to the ground in a heap of exhaustion.
Des Eclairs et de Tonnerre. Notre événement. Je garderai le silence.
The paramedics began to run vitals on Tyler and Kara while they awaited the arrival of a second ambulance. "She appears to be in a state of shock," one of them said into their radio. "Her vitals look good, but she's in a sort of trance. She's speaking nonsense, non-responsive." Tyler took his wife's hand and squeezed it. She was staring into space at nothing. Her eyes were wide, and she would rarely blink as she rhythmically repeated the same phrase over and over. From the back of the ambulance, Tyler observed his Volvo in disbelief. The silver paint had been entirely scorched off. The windows had all been broken out, and a thin plume of smoke was wafting out from under the hood. All 4 tires were flat, and the plastic trim on various parts of the car appeared to have been melted. One of the paramedics' radios crackled. "Second unit still a ways out. Just bring him back here immediately," a voice on the other end instructed. With that, Kara was secured to the gurney. Tyler was offered a seat, and the ambulance set off for a local hospital.
Des Eclairs et de Tonnerre. Notre événement. Je garderai le silence.
During the hospital admittance process, Kara never once stopped repeating her strange mantra. The doctors quickly assessed that Tyler was absolutely fine and allowed him to sit with Kara at her bedside while they continued to check on them both. "She's fine," the doctor told Tyler, who was suddenly overcome with a sense of relief. "Physically, at least," the doctor continued. "Vitals look good. CT scan shows nothing, but obviously she does seem traumatized. Has she ever behaved this way during stressful situations before?" "No," Tyler replied, as he tried to get his wife to snap out of it. "What she's saying it's French," a young nurse said. "But she doesn't know any French. We don't know French," Tyler explained. The nurse unlocked his phone and opened a translator app. As soon as he clicked the microphone button, the doctor grabbed him by the back of the scrubs and literally pushed him out the door. "What's happening? What happened to her? What happened to us? Did we get in an accident?" Tyler asked. The doctor followed the nurse out into the hallway and shut the door without addressing Tyler's question. The next 5 minutes took a couple hours to pass. Tyler was so startled that he physically jumped out of his seat the very moment that Kara stopped repeating her strange chant and looked directly at him. "Ty," she said, sobbing and grabbing onto him tight. Tyler was overjoyed. He shouted for the doctor that his wife was, for lack of a better word, awake, and the staff quickly returned. Once the nurses had left, the doctor took a seat, and with a click of his pen, he looked over the top of his clipboard at the couple, asking, "So what happened? From the beginning?" Tyler and his wife shared a perfectly choreographed shrug before Tyler began talking, looking over at Kara for the occasional reassuring nod to make sure that what he was saying was in fact correct. "Okay, we were driving home from dinner, and we see this blinding bright light. Very white, like LED, synthetic, you know. Before we could shield our eyes, there was this huge boom, so I slammed on the brakes and tried to get off the road. I thought there might be a problem with the car, so I gently escorted my wife out." Kara gave Tyler's hand a loving squeeze as they both shared an awkward and nervous laugh. She picked up where Tyler had left off. "I vaguely remember sitting on the grass, but it feels like a dream. I woke up here in bed with Ty sitting next to me." The doctor unclicked his pen without writing a single word and without so much as a word, he stood up and left the room. As Tyler and Kara tried to make sense out of what was happening, a strange look came over his face. Sweetie, your shirt, he said, pointing to the Milwaukee Brewers logo on her t-shirt that was hanging over the back of a chair. The iconic glove and ball logo appeared to have been ripped off the shirt, torn up, and adhered to the shirt again in a rather cattywampus way. The arching letters on the top of the shirt read, verbatim, Milwaukee Brewers. Kara gasped in fear. Ty, how, she stammered. Did it melt or something? Tyler shook his head. No, it wasn't damaged. Kara held him for a few minutes of hazy silence before Tyler glanced at his watch. Ah, crap, he said. My watch stopped. Kara reached over to the small table next to her bed and grabbed hers. It's 8:33 p.m., she said. Tyler shook his head in disagreement. That's what mine says, but it can't be. I mean, we've been here for hours. We didn't even leave the restaurant till after 8. Tyler opened the door to the room and checked the red digital clock over the nurse's station. Before he could tell his wife that it was nearly 2 a.m., the huddled staff noticed the open door, and within seconds they rushed into the room. Alrighty, Tyler, Kara, you're officially discharged and free to leave, the doctor said, quickly lowering Kara's bedrail and almost forcefully pulling her to her feet. Tyler objected, trying to stop the doctor, who then swatted his hand away. One of the nurses grabbed Kara's personal effects, including her watch and t-shirt, and stuffed them into the hazmat container on the wall. Look, son, we're very busy. We have patients in the hallway who need this room, so let's go, come on, the doctor insisted. The couple were pushed forcefully to the door, the doctor going so far as to grab Tyler by the wrist and snapping his watch band in the process, confiscating the watch. As Tyler grabbed the doctor, demanding that he give his watch back, a pair of nurses shoved a generic white t-shirt onto Kara, and then one of them shouted for security. Within seconds, 2 officers arrived. They bumped Tyler and Kara several times. There's nobody here, Kara exclaimed. There's nobody in the hallways. There's empty rooms. What are you doing? Tyler was simultaneously shouting at the guards that they had no way to get home and that all of their personal items had been taken. After ushering the pair outside, one of the guards shoved a small white vinyl bag into Kara's hands. Your car's right there, he said, before they walked away, the other guard looking back at them with a stern and slow headshake, indicating that they were not to try to come back inside. In the bag were 3 items. Tyler's wristwatch, set to the correct time. Kara's wristwatch, also set to the correct time. And 1 set of Volvo keys. Stunned, Kara pulled out the keys and clicked unlock. Blinking and sitting in the pickup drop-off area just outside the front door was their completely undamaged car. The Volvo was in fact pristine, freshly washed, brand new tires, detailed inside and out. As the couple tried to shake off their bewilderment, they did obey their gut instinct to just get the heck out of there as fast as they could. As they entered the car, they were approached by a young nurse, the very nurse that the doctor had thrown out of the room earlier. I'm just on a smoke break, he said, intentionally loudly. He never made eye contact as he tossed a piece of folded paper through the open car door before disappearing around the corner. Kara unfolded it and read it as Tyler drove away. Si n'etat que des Eclairs et du Tonnerre, qu'un autre in événement je garderai le silence? Tyler gripped the wheel hard. That's what you were saying. You were saying that over and over. Do you remember? Kara replied with no, but the note included a word-for-word translation, which she read. It was only lightning and thunder, no other events. I will remain silent. Ty, what do you think that means? What Tyler and Kara experienced on that strange evening in 2023, as it turns out, is easily explainable. Nothing. They were fine. Thanks for listening. We're done here. Unless, of course, you're dissatisfied with that answer. As you should be. Tyler felt the same way when he went back into the hospital the next day, demanding an explanation. He was advised by several people that there was no record of admittance for neither he nor his wife. There was no bill, no balance due. None of the doctors or nurses that he named or described seemed to work there. And when he asked to speak to security, he found the guard very helpful and pleasant. The guard advised that the goons that were described by Tyler would simply not ever be employed there, and that Tyler's description of their uniforms and behavior were all completely against hospital protocol. After years of searching for answers, meteorologically, geologically, and even psychologically, neither Tyler nor Kara have so much as a hint as to what happened. And while they each have their own theories, neither is able to discuss their strange ordeal without getting deeply emotional. Kara believes that she and Tyler had been involved in some kind of extraterrestrial encounter, and their tale does indeed check many of the standard close encounter boxes. Bright light, loud boom, missing time, melted vehicle components, and we don't need to stretch our imaginations too far in order to visualize a couple of men in black urging the doctors and nurses to forget what they heard and saw while ushering Tyler and Kara out the door. Adding to the strangeness, Kara can confirm that they were in fact transported to the hospital. Despite the hospital's lack of records, the independently operated ambulance service did in fact send them a paper bill. When Kara called for details, she was informed that the account had mysteriously been paid in full and closed out. Tyler is 100% positive that they either slipped into another dimension or got caught in some kind of programming bug, swapping little green men for the theory that we all live in a simulation. And he's not without sufficient evidence to make a compelling argument for either case. Exhibit A, Kara's Milwaukee Brewpert's t-shirt being totally garbled. Tyler figures it was either a sloppy garment update for her avatar, or it was disassembled and reassembled incorrectly. Exhibit B, Tyler's Volvo, trashed and totaled one moment, and then completely brand new just a few hours later. Tyler explains that he put nearly 200,000 miles on the car prior to the event, and therefore knows every squeak and rattle by heart. And suddenly his car had none. It was practically brand new. And while the VIN indeed did match, Tyler knew that it was indeed not his car. All of the folded and wrinkled registrations and documents that were in the glove box were now so new that he could smell the new paper they were printed on. What's even more unusual is when Tyler tried to sell the vehicle, several dealerships and private individuals found themselves drawn in by the SUV's remarkable condition, ultimately refusing purchase, citing that something just seemed off. Tyler and Kara avoid driving the vehicle unless they absolutely have to. They explain that being inside of it is akin to sitting inside a tank of liquid anxiety. When we consider both of their takes on what happened, as odd as it is to say, both of them do seem to fit. Personally, I find myself in Camp Kara, leaning more towards UFOs. And that's because of the one detail that does seem central to figuring out this mystery. Kara's seemingly pre-programmed message, spoken in French, a language she does not understand or speak. It's a message which seems to advise the receiver that the vehicle had been struck by lightning, nothing more. Playing over and over again like a disclaimer. A careless case of little green men covering their little green behinds in the wrong language. Aside from some strange memories and a spooky car that they really can't seem to sell, Tyler and Kara have no other souvenirs from their trip, thankfully. They are fine. They agreed to share the story here one more time with you and me before closing out this chapter for good and moving on with their lives, desperate to convince themselves that maybe all of this really was nothing more than Eclairs et Tonnerre. And with that, merci beaucoup, as always, for listening. Whatever road you choose to take home, may it give you adventures that are as grand, beautiful, and enduring as our Great Lakes. Je t'y verrai près de l'eau. I'll see you about the water.